Hello students, welcome to my fifth class on this Sommerfeld model. It's a lengthy derivation. You have to study the derivation step by step. If you understand the subject very well, then you can write the entire derivation in a single page. You can skip several steps. For that, you have to study the subject with a pen and paper. So you have to go through all the steps and understand the steps. If you have understood the steps very well, then you can reduce or increase the various steps involved in the derivation. We have started with a particle in a box problem. So we have considered a cubical box of side L, and inside the potential energy of the particle is 0 and outside is infinity. So a particle trapped inside the box cannot go outside. So that is the problem, and we have constructed Schrodinger equation. This is the Schrodinger equation. The equation is variable separable form, and we have obtained the solution as a sine function, product of three sine functions like this. Then energy is obtained. The expression for energy is this. You have got nx square, ny square, nz square, where nx, ny, nz can take positive integer values. So depending upon the values, we will get various energy levels. And in the last class, we have seen that since n is the number of electrons is very large, the integers nx, ny, nz may be treated as continuous variable, and this nx square plus ny square plus nz square is taken as some n square. In the last class, we have derived an expression for GE. This GE, and what is GE? Number of energy levels per unit energy range. Actually, we have calculated number of energy levels for DE energy range, so that we can take a limit DE tending to 0, and that was found to be equal to pi n square dn. To proceed further, we have to express this GE in terms of energy, not in terms of n. How we will do that? For that, we have to find an expression for n in terms of E and substitute on the RHS. Then the entire thing on the RHS will be in terms of E, and you will get a formula for GE in terms of E. Now, since we have taken nx square plus ny square plus n square as n square, that can be substituted in the formula for energy here. This is n square. So n square will be equal to 2 ml square E divided by h cross square pi square, that I have written here. So n square is 2 ml square E divided by h cross square pi square. From that you can find a square root of that, so you will get a n. When you take a square root, all these squares will disappear, so you will get L by h cross pi into square root of 2me. It is convenient to express h cross in terms of h. H cross is actually h by 2 pi, so that h is there. 2 pi will go to the numerator, so that is 2 pi. So pi and pi will cancel, then you will get n is equal to 2L by h cross 2me raised to half. In this formula, you have got a dn also, that we have to find and substitute. So dn is equal to, you take a differential of this. So the only variable in this equation is E. So you have to differentiate with respect to E, and remaining things we have to take outside the derivative. So that is a 12 by h into 2m raised to half into derivative of e raised to half is half e raised to minus half. So differential will be into d. So that is dn, and here we have got n square. So both can be substituted in the formula for GEDE. That is pi into n square into dn. So that I have substituted here. This is pi, this is n square, and this is dn. So if you simplify that, then you will get this equation in which there is an L cube here. And what is L cube? L cube will be the volume of the cube. So we have considered a specimen in the form of a cube of side L. So cube volume of the cube will be length into breadth into height. So that is L into L into L. So L cube will be volume. So now L disappeared and only volume appears. So we may use the formula for a metal of any shape. Now this quantity Ge is the total number of states available per unit energy range of the specimen, that is Ge. Ge can be obtained by cancelling dE on both sides. On both sides we have got dE. So the Ge function that will be proportional to e raised to half, and that is plotted here. That Ge function, Ge versus E function, that is proportional to e raised to half. So it will be a curved line. So this is a root E, proportional to root E. Now, how electrons are distributed in these energy levels? It is given by Fermi-Dirac statistics. Electrons are spin-half particles, and they obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. The number of electrons distributed in various energy levels can be written in the form NEDE. Here, Ne is the number of electrons per unit energy range. So what will be NEDE? NEDE will be number of electrons per dE energy range. And according to Fermi-Dirac statistics, it is given by Fe into GeD. That is why we have calculated this Ge in order to know the number of electrons in a particular energy range. We have to have this GeD, and when GeD is multiplied by Fe, when GeD is multiplied by a function Fe, you will get a actual number of electrons, that is the number of electrons distributed in the energy range dE. This Fe function is written here, or Fe function is actually 1 by e to the power of e minus ef by kt plus 1. So that is substituted here. So GD into that function, then we will get a number of electrons in the energy range dE, or number of electrons whose energy lies between E and E plus dE. Now let us study the graph of Ne. So if you cancel dE on both sides, this Ne will be Fe into Ge. Ge we have already seen. This is the Ge, and Fe is a function. Fe function for two different temperatures are plotted here, and at a t equal to 0, that is at absolute 0, the function is a step function from 0 to an energy Ef, where Ef is the constant appearing here. Then the value of the function is 1, and thereafter for E greater than Ef, the value of function is 0. There is a property of this Fermi-Dirac distribution function at a t equal to 0. Now let us see how can we understand this step graph. See, for E less than Ef, if E is less than Ef, the numerator is negative, and when t is equal to 0, the entire quantity becomes infinity. So this is negative infinity, and e raised to minus infinity will be 0, because e raised to minus infinity is 1 by e raised to infinity. 1 by e raised to infinity is actually 1 by infinity, so that is 0. So this part of this formula becomes a 0. Then the remaining will be 1 by 1. So that is 1. So up to EF, that is when E is less than EF, the value of the function is 1 at a t equal to 0. So we are putting t equal to 0 here. And after that, what happens is when E is greater than EF, when the energy is greater than this, when E is greater than EF, the numerator is positive quantity and denominator is 0. So positive quantity divided by 0 will be positive infinity. So this is e raised to infinity, which itself is infinity. So this is infinity plus 1 in the denominator. That is infinity plus 1 is infinity. So 1 by the entire function is 1 by infinity, and that becomes a 0. So it is plotted here. It is plotted here. Now we come to the graph of Ne. Ne is the number of electrons per unit energy range. And if you cancel dE on both sides, then Ne will be Fe into Ge, that I have written here. Ne is equal to Fe into Ge, and Fe is given by this function. Now above absolute zero, the nature of the function will be like this. Only the region near EF is affected when temperature becomes greater than 0. That is this part. Now let us find the graph of Ne. Ne is the number of electrons per unit energy range. So Ne can be obtained from this equation. You can cancel dE and dE here. So Ne will be Fe into Ge. So Fe graph is this, Ge graph is this. If you multiply these two graphs, then you will get a graph like this. Because from here to here, the value of the function is 1. So this is multiplied by 1. So we will get the same graph here because multiplication by 1 doesn't change anything. And at t equals 0, it will go up to the 1 here. Thereafter, it is multiplied by 0 value. So 0 value, so thereafter it reduces to 0. And above that EF, there are no number of particles. Number of particles will be 0. Ne will be 0 because that is multiplied by this function is multiplied by 0. So you will get a 0 here. And above absolute 0, this function is multiplied by this t greater than 0 curve. So only the top end will be affected. So if you multiply this with this also becomes a 0 after some time. So you will get a for t greater than 0. This is the nature of the graph. Here I have shown these energy levels, and let us consider at absolute 0. At absolute 0, you can see that the Ne is the number of electrons per unit energy range. So we have got a non-zero value for Ne. So in the energy levels, electrons are filled up to a certain level EF. So that is shown here. Every energy level is filled by 2 electrons. One is spin up and the other is spin down. And up to an energy level EF, which is actually called EF0, and this EF0 is called Fermi level at 0 Kelvin. EF0, which is the Fermi level at absolute 0, can be defined as highest filled energy level at absolute 0. So that is the definition. That is the definition of Fermi level at absolute 0. And above absolute 0, a few electrons can go from here to upper energy levels. So the number of electrons reduces here, and number of electrons in the upper energy levels here increases little bit. So few electrons will be excited from here and will go to the higher levels. So this is the distribution of electrons in various energy levels in the quantum mechanical model or Sommerfeld model.